Hare Krishna. So I heard there are some new, I should not say new, those who are in Krishna Consciousness for quite recently. So I was asked to take some topic which was concerning them. It was what? Some topic? Something like difficulties facing Krishna Consciousness or something like that. I have a lot of questions here, but I'll answer these questions in such a way that even a first time comer also can understand, okay? In that way. So both are done. You told that you should chant happily, but after we heard that we should chant like a baby crying for his parents. Please clarify. Should we cry or be happy? So crying for Krishna is the highest stage of happiness. So crying for Krishna is the highest stage of happiness. In spiritual life, there is only happiness. Even the suffering is happiness. Even the crying is happiness. Even getting scolded is happiness. If that is the case, then what to speak of happiness itself? In the material world, even so-called enjoyment is suffering. So, crying or be happy, both are actually spiritual. The spiritual cry is nothing but the expression of bliss, expression of separation. Like when gopis are crying in separation from Krishna, that is actually their bliss. Externally you will find there is experience separation from Krishna, that is why they are crying. But the more the separation external, there is internal union. So it's our philosophy. The culmination of all the philosophical points is into this thing where we understand there is separation in union and union in separation. When Radha and Krishna they meet, there is union. But when there is union externally, internally there is separation. That is why they would like to embrace and keep each other deep within their heart, because they experience separation within the heart. But when there is separation, what is experienced? There is external separation, but internally there is so much of union, because they just cannot. Thoughts of Krishna in the heart of Radha and thoughts of Radha in the heart of Krishna, they are so strong. In the same way, devotee also experiences. And that is why it is achintya bheda abheda. So being happy, actually when I said that one has to chant being happy, it means that you be happy to chant. Something, you do it happily. So an expression of happiness, that is actually an external thing. It is actually not a really like an ecstasy. It's not that. You're still at the level of sadhana. So, but when you chant being happy. That means you're happy to chant. Like for example, somebody tells you, why, let's have a feast. Are you happy to have feast or not? Crying you have? Are you feast khana padta hai? Like that. No. So you're happy to do that, isn't it? Let's go and have darshan. So you jana padega kya? Not like that. Let's happily go do that. So I mean to say this, that when you want to go to class, you be happy to attend a class. Happy to go to Mangalarthi. Not that utha diya, jana padega. Kal karte na, not like that. So when I said muda, that means actually you do it happily. That means you should be happy to do it, and you should do it happily. That is what is the meaning I said. So the crying is also spiritual. That's not misery at all. Don't consider that crying is like misery. रोते रोते जब कर रहा है करना पड़ा है नहीं तो मार पड़ेगी, like that. Not that cry. Prabhupada never meant that kind of cry when he said cry. Like a child's cry like the mother. Not the, when the mother has beaten the child left, right, center, the child is crying. Not that cry. When the mother is not seen, the child is crying for the mother. examples can be interpreted any way. That is why in Nyaya Shastra there's something called balancing the examples. It is one of the important aspects of Nyaya, of logic, Vedic logic. So, like for example, if you give Prabhupada said that my spiritual master is Simha Guru. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is what? Simha Guru. Oh, he had all the dadi like this, like a lion or what? He used to eat non-veg. Because lion is non-veg. It doesn't mean so. So there is something called the balancing of examples. The balancing examples is a very important aspect. You just cannot quote an example and then take example for some other purpose, isn't it? So here, when Prabhupada says our chanting should be like the cry of a child for the mother, it means the cry of the child when the child is not able to see the mother in separation. That so much of love is there. Not that the mother has beaten the child black and blue and the child is crying. And the mother is saying, eat, and the child says, no, I'll beaten, and again is crying and eating. Not that. Okay, don't get confused with those examples. Okay, next. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, could you kindly tell what is Hridaya Daurbalya, how to get rid of obstacles? Now, there are 4 kinds of aparadhas, 4 kinds of offenses, anarthas, 4 kinds of anarthas. One of the anarthas is Hridaya Daurbalya. Another one is Asat Trishna and Tattva Brahma and ultimately Aparadha. So these are the 4 kinds of anarthas in everybody's heart. Now one is Hridaya Daurbalya. That is the first weakness which is manifest out of mental affliction, which is found in the heart of Arjuna. By the way, Krishna, as soon as he got a chance to speak in the 2nd chapter, 1st verse itself, 2nd and 3rd verse, he says, Arjuna, Tekta Hridaya Daurbalya Muttishta Parantapa. You give up your petty weakness of the heart. So this weakness of the heart is envy, matsarya, and then tuchasakti, and attachment to spend petty things. And like Arjuna, he was willing to give the entire kingdom, doing everything, but still what was the use of that vairagya? He had so many good qualities, but that was leading him to lamentation. So even though you may find yourself to be very good, but this goodness is actually based on mode of ignorance. The so-called goodness what you have is based on ignorance. Because it is based on ignorance, then you get attached to small things. Start crying for small things. That is called Hridaya Daurbalya, weakness of the heart. There is no other way to get rid of this weakness of the heart other than sadhu sangha. When you sit in front of the spiritual master and hear from him, because he is a source of all strength, bala, and he infuses the bala within your heart, that is known as Shakti Avesh, or it is known as Shakti Sanchar. So when you sit in the class and hear from your spiritual master, your heart becomes very strong because he gives you strength. That is why spiritual master is considered to be the representative of Balaram, one who gives you bala. Because to do spiritual activities, you require strength, not that physical strength, strength of the heart. To give up, to renounce, it requires the strength. Where do you get the strength from? The strength we receive from the spiritual master. The spiritual master is none other than Balaram himself, a manifestation of Balaram. So, in association with spiritual master, we get that strength to overcome the weakness of the heart, and there is no alternative for it. Somebody may be very expert in scriptures. Somebody may be very good in sadhana. In spite of all these things, the Maya can overtake in the form of Hridaya Daurbalya. That is why the first item of devotional service is to surrender to a spiritual master. Diksha Shikshadi Grahanam, take initiation from him, instructions from him, and serving him. In these three ways, when you associate with the spiritual master, you become very strong. Okay. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. While preaching Krishna consciousness, one has to follow Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. And while following mind, but it is not able to neglect mind. What should one do to be able to neglect mind? Follow Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. See, mind is material. First thing is, mind is material. Now, what your Guru, Sadhu, and Shastras they are saying is totally spiritual. Okay. Now, it's all up to what you want. If you identify yourself as a materialistic person, then naturally you will follow the mind in spite of the instructions of the Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra. Now, when you identify yourself as servant of my Guru, then you will follow what Guru says in spite of what the mind is telling you. So, who is your master? You have to make a choice. Is it my mind? Is it my spiritual master? So, you will neglect the things or the thoughts which are thrown by your mind when you are considering yourself as a servant of spiritual master. So that is where you have to identify yourself. That is where the identity comes into picture. Sarvopadi vinirmuktam tatparatvena nirmalam. So these upadis means my identity. I am a student, I am this, I am that, I am husband, I am wife, I am son, I am daughter, I am husband. So all these identities make you listen to your mind. So that is the reason we had to constantly contemplate on our identity. Who am I? Srila Prabhupada, practically 80% of the lectures, he talks about this point. Even though the lecture may be some other subject, but he touches on this point of who am I? Why? Because constant contemplation on the subject of who am I? I am servant of Krishna. I am servant of the spiritual master. I am servant of the Vaishnavas. This helps us in being rigid, in being very strong, and not listen to the mind. The problem comes with identity. So when you are fixed up in your identity, that I am servant of Krishna, that is why all the scriptural study, especially the Shastra Sevan, like we are doing also Shastra Sevan here. So this helps us to be fixed up in the conception that I am servant of Krishna. So the only way you can really become strong in neglecting the mind and following the instructions, Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, is Shastra Sevan. Because by doing Shastra Sevan constantly, what happens is that you become fixed in the concept of or original identity. What is that? I'm servant of Krishna. That is why you find those who don't study Srila Prabhupada books, they may do sadhana very nicely for some time, they may do preaching very nicely for some time. After some time they become very weak and then they just go away. Why? Because they are not done scriptural study properly. They are not studying. So when you study, what happens is your intelligence becomes very sharp. When your intelligence becomes very sharp, then you can discard the things which are thrown by the mind. Isn't it? Because intelligence is superior to the mind and it is very strong. So by Shastra Sevan, by regularly sitting and hearing from the spiritual master, by studying the scriptures constantly again and again, you are making your intelligence very strong. By which you are deliberating on your identity. Who am I? Why am I here for? Like for example, sometimes one devotee was asking yesterday, saying that, Prabhuji, somebody scolds us, we feel so bad about it. Where are you feeling bad about it? In the mind, isn't it? So at that time, if your intelligence is very strong, you have to think, why am I here? What am I here to attain? I am here to attain what? Krishna Prema. And somebody scolding me, somebody praising me, it is all based on what? My karma. So when you are able to act on this platform of knowledge, and ultimately I am servant, even somebody scolds me, what's wrong in that? Servant means get scolded. So, job done. Otherwise, the mind haunts you like a ghost. Then you require somebody to pacify you. Counselor is required. How long a counselor will do? He also has problems, isn't it? How long he'll scratch your back? 1 day, 2 days, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years, 15 years after that? Isn't it? So you have to become strong and be fixed up. That is why we call a fixed up devotee. A fixed up devotee. No matter you kick him on the face or he'll be there only. No matter you scold him, do anything, he'll be there. That's called a fixed up devotee. Because he is fixed up in his constitutional position of being servant of Krishna. No matter the material nature does anything to him, no matter the mind says anything to him, he is not bothered. So it is Shastra Sevan. So take it very seriously, Shastra Sevan. Hare Krishna Prabhu. As I told yesterday, when I'm giving the answers, something comes up in your mind, you can still raise hand and ask. No, nothing wrong in that. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, can you please explain the term servant and how to be good servant? In English, actually the word servant we use just to be nice, that's all. Actually, the Sanskrit is dasa. Dasavat, sannatangriyaha. Dasa actually referred not to sevak. Sevak means servant. Dasa doesn't refer to servant, but it refers to slave. Slave. So what is a slave? Servant has a choice to change his master. Does he have? No. I don't know what you know. Do you know what slavery is? You don't know what slavery is. Slave means once you purchase a person and you make him your slave, he, his wife, and his children, and the generations to come, everybody are his. No choice for them. They are not paid. They are just kept. And their only job is to serve. That's all. Whatever the master says, the slave is supposed to do. That's all. No question of saying no, even say later, nothing. Said, done. That's all. Otherwise, shot. Even beaten. If still don't listen, you'll be punished. This is slavery. And it actually existed in practically around the world, many places around the world. Actually, all parts of the world it was there. And you may say it is bad, somebody says good, somebody says bad, somebody says, oh, it's horrible and all. But the fact is it was there. I saw in my village. In my village. I saw in my childhood, later on everything gone. All of them got liberated from their slavery or whatever the thing is. More than about 10 families used to work in our house, in our village. Not just, their generation, their grandfather, great-grandfather. They just were there. And they were not paid. And they were well taken care of. They had their houses. Anything, they were well taken care of. Of course, it's a Vedic system. That those communities, they just take care of it. Their whole life is to just serve. And they serve, generations of generations go on serving. These few families. That's what it was. Of course, they were not beaten and all. They were scolded definitely. Actually, it's good also in one sense, because the moment you give money to a Shudra, he'll go for sense enjoyment. He'll go and get drunk. He'll immediately go and womanize or go to a prostitute or smoke, do something. So if they don't have money, they just only have work and food. They are happy actually. They're happy. It's true. I've seen. They are more happy by being slaves than being paid employees or paid laborers. I know the family who's like, they were taking care of, connected to our this thing. As long as they were like a slave in the house, they were working, they were quite happy, no problem at all. The moment the system of salary started and labor, every paid labor started, monthly salary or daily wages that started, they had disputes and they had fights among themselves, and there some people killed each other. All these things happen. They get drunk. I remember once somebody who was working in our house, he went and he drank. His wife came and complained to my grandfather in our village. Then grandfather just went and he was drunk. As soon as we saw him, I was just playing in the near the cow shed and all. He was like shivering and he got up. And the grandfather just you beat the bands, that take that chabukin thing, and he just went and stood near him and then just showed like this. I was crying and like so that kind of control people had on people on the community, which were not so much well trained in control of senses. So if you just give freedom of money to a person who is not controlled his senses, what they will do? Isn't it? They just do anything, and they fight among themselves also. So I'm just telling all these things to say that we are not just servants, but we are actually slaves of Krishna. Especially Brahmachari means a sold out dog to his guru. So no option for any sense enjoyment. Oh, no independence at all. No independence at all. So it is not that we are just servants, we are actually slaves of Krishna. Because we don't want to have any option at all. Because this stupid mind, it's such a thing, it as soon as it gets an option, immediately it dwells on its objects of senses. So when you don't have any option, that is the safest method, isn't it? Manoratantaraha. Prashanta Nishesha Manoratantaraha. Pravarshayishyami Sanata Jivitam. Yamunacharya says this thing. He says, once I have become your servant, all the Manorathantara, all the desires have become completely subdued. And all my senses are now under control because I am constantly serving you and accepted you as my Natha. Natha means, it's called Natni. The nose, this part. Like you tie a bull with a rope through the nose, and that is called Natha. The person he just, because the bull, the nose is very sensitive. Wherever he wants to take, the bull is very strong. You want to take left, right, you just do like this, the bull goes here. Like this, the bull. No, that is the only way you can control the bull. That is why they try through the nose. The breeding bull is not tied. The breeding bull is Lord Shiva's representative. And so we don't do that. Those who have been in village, they know all these things. So they control the nose. So that is why you are my Natha means that actually you have put a rope through my nose and you can control and do whatever you want with me. Like a farmer does anything with the bull. You can get the work done with the bull. Sometimes it doesn't do it, no problem. That's called surrender. Isn't it? So how can you be a good servant? Just don't have any option. The moment you have option, gone. So no other option. Okay. This is called servant. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Krishna consciousness, a mental state of remembering Krishna. It is not a mental state of remembering Krishna. If it is mental state, then it would not be called Krishna consciousness. Yoga is remembering Krishna through the yoga process. The Ashtanga yoga process is mental state. Like for example, you are thinking of, for example, you are studying in engineering. You are trying to think of a formula which you studied, okay, and you have not written a letter for many days to your house, and your mother is also thinking of you. So what is the difference between both the thinkings? There's some difference, isn't it? You're trying to think what it is like that, from your memory or something like that. And she's not doing that. To give you one more example, like I meditate on something, and you love someone and you meditate on that person. What is the difference? One is artificial, that you are trying to do something. Other one is what? It is very natural because it's springing out from the consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is not a state of mind, but it is a state of consciousness. The states of mind may change. That is material. Today he was very happy. I was chanting, I was so happy, I was feeling so peaceful. Tomorrow you are not very peaceful. So you will not chant. Still you chant. So the state of mind has nothing to do with Krishna consciousness. Because the state of mind is based on your karma. The state of body is based on karma. Sometimes good karmas are fructifying in your body is healthy and very nice. When your bad karmas are fructifying, you fall sick, you just cannot walk. In the same way, when your karmas are fructifying and good karmas are fructifying, mind is very peaceful and very sound and very enlivening. And other side, when the mind is, when your bad karmas are fructifying, mind is so disturbed. So Krishna consciousness is not a state of mind, but is a state of consciousness. It is totally spiritual. That is why, in spite of one being disturbed, still he can continue in Krishna consciousness. People ask this question, Prabhuji, I am feeling so disturbed and all these things, but just see their materialistic friends, they are not, but we are pretty peaceful, very happy. Many times this thing comes to our mind too. You are promised by chanting Hare Krishna and become happy and all, and I find that I am miserable and my friend who is a drunkard, he's got a girlfriend, very happy and all. How is it? How am I to understand this thing? So it is just a state of mind. Maybe your bad karmas are fructifying now, and his is going to be fructified 2 days later when she leaves. The girlfriend leaves, then you go and see him. Then you will understand. Oh, good, my mind was very disturbed and he was so happy. It's very good. It's just a question of time. It changes. But Krishna consciousness is transcendental to mental agitations or mental phenomena. Okay, so remembering Krishna is actually springing out from consciousness. Like you remember Laddu, okay, and remember Krishna. There is a lot of difference between that. If you like laddus, you are very happy about it. You don't like laddus, you are not very happy about it in the mind. But when you remember Krishna, whether you are happy or not, it will have a transcendental effect on your consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is a function of consciousness rather than the state of mind. What will be running background in your mind when you do something like lecturing and chanting? So what will be running background in your mind? Means you're asking me what goes on in my mind. Okay. What should be running in the background? I answer both the questions. What will be running in your mind when when you do something like lecturing or chanting? So when I'm lecturing, I'm totally engrossed in what to answer, so that you're very satisfied with the answer. That is what is going on, because it is my service to you, service to Krishna, service to Guru Parampara, so that I can encourage you and enthuse you in Krishna consciousness. At the same time, make things very clear in your mind. So I do my best to do my service the best, so that my service is the best. Try to do my service the best way possible. And when chanting, it's a big problem. Always remember this verse. Yato yato nischalati manaschanchalam astiram tatastato niyamti atmanni vasham nayet. Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, whenever the mind wanders, just bring back the mind and then put it back. Like a child, a mother and a child, you see, small kid. The mother takes a child to the market or somewhere, and they're buying something. Let's give the child, and then trying to do. And then my child is running there. It runs and brings back the child again. And now sometimes the child runs here, he runs and brings back the child, isn't it? We all done it. So, the same way, this is what should do. So, whenever the mind wanders other than hearing about the names of Krishna, immediately bring it back to the hearing. Bringing back to the hearing process. Bringing back to the hearing process. So when you are chanting, we are supposed to do just one thing. Or that is what I do. And sometimes even I say this verse in between. Tatostado niyam chaityat atmanyeva vasham nayet. Bring it back to the hearing process. No, I do it a lot. Now, if I take the question as what should be running in the background of your mind when you are doing something like lecturing. So when you are giving a lecture, what should go on in your mind is that you should speak what the Siddhanta is. You should not deviate from the Siddhanta. At the same time, you try your best so that the message is conveyed to people who are sitting in front of you. And while chanting, try your best or think about whether you're hearing things properly or not, and whether you're pronouncing every syllable properly or not. Just think about these two, that's all. And how to avoid mental offenses. How to, don't worry about it. Mind is always offensive, and mentally you do offenses, it's not much effect. Especially the age of Kali, you're exempted from it. Good that we're exempted, otherwise, just imagine what would happen to us. Good, we are exempted. But at the same time, don't pursue. Mentally start thinking, I'm going to do that, I'm going to tell this, I'm going to beat this thing. The mind only thinking. Because more you think about it, one day it will come into where my thoughts come into action, words, and the words come into actions. So don't pursue it. Thoughts come in the mind, let it come and go. But hold on to the thought and then trying to think, I'm going to do. Then ultimately it lands. So be careful about it. Even though mental offenses are not very much counted, but still, if you pursue them within your mind, then it come into words and actions. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. In future, I want to join Ramachari Ashram, but I am not emotionally strong. Kindly guide me. How can you become emotionally strong? Very good question. One thing is for sure. Ramachari Ashram is not designed for taking care of you emotionally. That is for sure. Where the Grahastha Ashram is nicely designed for taking care emotionally, for emotional needs. But the problem is these days there is no Grihastha ashram. Actually, when somebody gets married, thinking that I can get satisfied with physical needs, he will suffer, because the Grihastha ashrama is not designed for satisfaction of physical needs. It's not designed. So if somebody enters with a wrong expectation, he'll suffer. Now, what is the purpose of the Grihastha ashrama? Grihastha ashrama is designed for satisfying emotional needs. But the problem is these days there is no Grihastha ashrama at all. You don't get the girls who try to satisfy your emotional needs. You don't get. And they don't know it is meant for that. As much as a man is thinking it is for my physical needs, the girl is also thinking for my physical needs. When they come together to satisfy physical needs, it doesn't happen, and then they divorced. Because both of them are entering into a particular place having wrong expectations. So that is why you see your parents and your grandparents, they live together. They may have small fights here and there, but they live together, isn't it? They never thought of giving up each other. They never thought of some other man or some other woman. But these days, because when they got married, they actually got married. They got the Vivaha Sanskar done. Their grandfather and grandmother, they got the Vivaha Sanskar done. They may not be Krishna conscious, but the point is they knew that this system is not for physical needs, but for each other's emotional needs. That is why they lived a good family life. But these days, nobody has any idea what it is meant for. They think that this system of marriage, it's actually not marriage, it's actually the system of the Vivaha Sanskar, or the Grihastha ashrama, is meant only for emotional needs. Like for example, if the husband falls sick, the wife is there to take care, and all these things, going around and doing all these things. And even if you're in the hospital, somebody is there waiting for you. You feel so, somebody is there for me. Pushne ke liye aaya, all these things. This is what is meant for. The wife is falls sick, the husband goes around. How are you? It's not so much of social interactions, emotional culture is there. But one thing is that the Brahmacharya ashram is not designed for that. There may be somebody who is trying to give you some, but that will not be available in our ashram. That is for sure. It's a very good question that you have asked, how to become strong. So, before you join or after you join within the first few years, try to become strong. Otherwise, you have a lot of problems. So, how to become strong? Anyway, everybody has to become strong. How to become strong? That is the question. Because don't expect that I will be emotionally taken care. You have some problem? Okay, somebody will hear you once, twice, thrice. Not the same 100 times. Nobody. So, how to become strong? The first thing to become strong is don't expect it. Don't expect it. Because the other person is also in the same boat. So, don't expect it. The emotional problems comes because of expectation. मैं आया, मेरे बारे में कुछ पूछा ही नहीं, मुझे प्रसाद के लिए पूछा नहीं पूछा तो जाके आप खा लेना भाई, 9 बजे होता है, मालूम नहीं क्या? 9 बजे प्रसाद होता है, नहीं मालूम? मुझे तो कोई पूछता ही नहीं इधर. अरे क्यों पूछेगा? Why? That I'm not discouraging a person to have emotional. I'm not discouraging that, but I'm discouraging expecting, because it is not meant for you. As much as you are an the other person is also an in this aspect. Other person is also as immature as you are, because he is also Brahmachari. He is not your mother. There may be some Brahmacharis who like motherly, fatherly. How long? 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. How long? So, the first step to be emotionally strong is stop expecting. How to stop expecting? The only way to stop expecting is to give. You think that you are a giver of emotional care. Replace expectation with giving. What you expect, you give. I'm telling you, so powerful this one line which I have spoken. Even though you are emotionally not so strong, you will become the strongest in Ashram. Because what you require, you are giving it now. While giving, you get it. Because Krishna sits in your heart and he can make impossible things possible. Yogakshemam vahamyami. If he sees, oh, my devotee is trying to take care of other devotee, I will go and personally sit in the heart, because I will make this devotee capable enough to give that care which everybody requires. Whatever you are expecting, start giving. Yes, it's so strong. Have you seen in the entire family, in some families, your family must have seen your mother, elder sister, or maybe your grandmother, or some aunt or something. Very emotional. Very emotional. When some real adversity comes, you find that they are the most strong people. If you observe, maybe you can give a thought to it. Why? Because they have given it. They are given that emotional care throughout their life. And though others may have perceived them to be very emotional, but when adversity comes, they stand very strong because they have given it. Especially chaste women in villages and small towns, they stand very strong. Whole life, maybe the elder son, husband, others, but when the time comes, everybody will cry, she will stand strong. It's a very important thing if you are really socially observed things. Why? Because they are given it. So one may be emotionally very weak, and then how to join the Ramachari Ashram. And you should know very well, this ashram is not designed for emotional care. So the only way you can become strong is by giving it. Don't expect it. Whatever you wanted, what you do? Give it. Okay. Don't we have to contemplate about the meaning of mantra? Don't have to. You just have to do sankalpa. At that time you should contemplate. Sankalpa is naham vipro naha nachanavati natvaishya no sudru naham vani bhravati no vanastu durva kintu prodhi nila pramanam punam vidabhe govivartuhu pradakavalayor dasadasar dasa. I am servant. So this is a sankalpa. So what I am doing while chanting, I am doing this chanting for your pleasure. You take this sankalpa for your pleasure. The only desire which I have is to attain your love. So before you chant, you take this sankalpa. At that time, you meditate on your concentrated position on the servant as a servant, as a servant to the Lord. Number two, that I am servant, being a servant, I am just offering this mantra for you, chanting this mantra for your pleasure. And my only request is what? I require your prayer. So before you chant, you meditate on these three aspects and then chant. So while chanting, you just meditate on the sound vibration, that's all. You don't have to meditate on, I am your servant, so what service I am doing. So I am going and taking my service is to take care of the sound box. Oh, where did I keep the sound box? Oh, the sound box is there. Oh, it's really there. Let me go and check there. Oh, whether I kept a charge or not. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, this is going on. Now, all these things will perfectly happen if you had taken the sankalpas properly and you had meditated on the sound vibration. Then there will be no problem with the wire, the sound box, or the accounts, or the sabji has come or not. All these things will happen properly. So be very careful about your chanting. If you are chanting at the same time doing something else, even though it may be some your service, it's not chanting but cheating. Prabhuji, lust is sitting places, senses, intelligence and mind. That is not the sequence. Indriyani mano buddhir. Senses, mind and intelligence. Indriyani mano buddhir yasadhisthana uchyate. Can you explain about it? How to avoid lust? Oh, how can you avoid? It is there. If something is outside and coming, you can avoid. It's already sitting there, how can you avoid it? You can only subdue it. You can only subdue it. It's already sitting in all three places. Indriyani mano buddhir yasadhistham uchyate. Jnana vijnana nashanam. It destroys your jnana and vijnana. Jnana vijnana nashanam. So what you should do? Prajaihi enam jnana vijnana nashanam. Prakrishta rupena jaihi. Completely conquer it. That is what Krishna says. Conquer. Avrittam jnanametena jnayino nityavirina. Dushpurena analena cha. Kamarupena kaunteya dushpurena analena cha. So in the 3rd chapter, last few verses, Krishna talks about this. Then he says that Jaihi, Jai Shatrum Mahabaho, Kamarupam Durasadam. These are the verses which goes on in the 3rd chapter. Jai Shatrum Mahabaho, O Mahabaho. There, by using this word Mahabaho, Krishna tells Arjuna, you can do it because you are Mahabaho. Jai Shatrum Mahabaho, Kamarupam Durasadam. So this Durasadam Kamarupam, what you do? Jaihi, Rajaihi, Jaihi has been told. What is the meaning? How to conquer? Don't try to avoid, because if you avoid it, what will happen? It will become more. Avoiding will become more. There is only one way. Kama Krishna Karmarpane. Kama Krishna Karmarpane. You offer your lust to Krishna. How? Working for Krishna. If you are 24 hours a day, keep 26 hours of work. We can only conquer lust when we don't have time for it and opportunity for it. No time, no opportunity. The moment you have time, you just give half an hour for yourself and then lie down. You are not even sleeping, you are not tired, lie down. And you are not doing anything, not chanting, not reading, not thinking of some seva, nothing. What happens? That's it. And you have something to do for that half an hour. Where is the time for it? And number 2 is opportunity. Oh, most dangerous. The moment opportunity comes, immediately the senses will become agitated. The mind becomes agitated. No time, no opportunity. Like when you are here in the temple, no time. After class, so many classes, somebody is there. And when there is no opportunity, what opportunity is there? You cannot go. So morning after Guru Puja class, you are back to your ashram. And you just wander around the temple also. You are in the temple also, in front of Krishna, in the temple. You have nothing to do. You're sitting there like trying to wander. What happens? Lust conquers. Opportunity. Lot of young ladies come and go. Gone. Over. But you are very busy somewhere, in the Sankirtan, or something. Then, so Kama Krishna Karmarpane. 24 hours being completely engaged in Krishna's service. That is the only solution for this. Don't try to avoid. If you just sit and try to avoid, what avoid? It becomes more stronger. More and more stronger. Yes. After some time, whole life it will come. Whole life. As long as the body is there, and as long as you attain bhava at least, bhava bhakti, it will be there. So don't try to give any free time to yourself. Two things: no time, no opportunity. Sometimes you may get time, so no opportunity. Okay. Intelligence is greater than mind. Intelligence used to, of course, I did not much talk about places of senses, mind, and intelligence. What is lust at senses, sense level of senses? What is lust at level of intelligence? What is lust at level of mind? And I did not much talk about it. I just gave you the practical solution. So, intelligence is greater than mind. Intelligence used to take decision. If intelligence is lusty, it's following up. 340. Now intelligence, that's most dangerous. If the lust has conquered intelligence, then no hope. No hope. Srila Prabhupada says in the purport, intelligence is the next door neighbor of the soul. Once that is corrupted, it is like in your computer, the RAM is corrupted. If the hard disk is corrupted, what you can do? You can replace it, or you can clean it, put antivirus in it. But if the RAM itself is corrupted, what you do? Those who are computer engineers, anybody is here, computer engineer? You cannot do anything much about it, isn't it? You cannot even start also. Once you start, goes on, it starts, stops, goes on. Isn't it? There. It's like that. So it's very difficult to remove. The expert person may remove, but very difficult. Because intelligence getting corrupted means whatever you see, your intelligence will try to make you enjoy it. So that is how intelligence corrupts. It gives you all different ideas of how to enjoy. So the whole perception of this world, you see this world as an object of my enjoyment. If the lust is in the mind, there is still somewhat you think it is my enemy. It is your enemy, and you have realization it is my enemy, I have to get rid of it. But when the lust is sitting in intelligence, it is like the lust has conquered your capital. As long as the enemy is not conquered your capital, still that the war is still on. Once the enemy has conquered your capital, the enemy will start using your country's infrastructure. Isn't it? He uses the radio, the television, everything. He's just conquered. No. And you are bound, you are prisoned. So don't let the intelligence, the lust, cover the intelligence. Once it is done, no hope. No hope. What to do? What happens if it is there like that? First is there is no hope. At least in the immediate future there is no hope. Untilness. You just change your sthana, your position where you are. Just travel with a pure devotee of the Lord. Just do. There's only hope. Only hope. Just be with the pure devotee. Just travel with the person. That's all. And that is some hope you can find after many days, maybe few years of chanting Hare Krishna. It is the last. It is a devastating thing. So don't let it come to intelligence. Let it mind is some chance, but intelligence when it comes, very dangerous. Don't let it happen. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, how can we avoid prajalpa in spiritual topics? Prajalpa in spiritual topics. Spiritual topic means a topic related to Krishna. As when Krishna is there, it is spiritual. Krishna is not there, nothing. So in the Bhagavatam, in the Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th, first canto, 10th chapter, yes. Krishna is leaving from Hastinapura to Dwarka. And he's on the road and the chariot is there. And all the ladies of Hastinapura, they get onto the terrace. They see Krishna. And they're talking about the beauty of Krishna, all his activities. And immediately they started praying to Krishna, glorifying Krishna. Their glorifications are described in Bhagavatam as Kairavendra Purastrin Anyonyamasi Sanjalpaha Kairavendra Purastrinam Uttama Shloka Chetasam Sarva Shruti Manoharaha. There the word has been used as Anyonyamasi Sanjalpa. Sanjalpa means Samyak Rupena Jalpa. Prajalpa, Sanjalpa, both same. So they started doing Prajalpa. They were doing Prajalpa. Who? Ladies. So it is the birthright of the ladies to do Prajalpa. If you want to know what is Prajalpa, everybody is speaking to each other without hearing each other. You just leave 5 ladies around. What they do? And their sentences are very long sentences. Very long sentences. That is why when there's some examination is there, the boys are writing examination, they are answering the question every 5 minutes one girl will come and take another paper. Long. I don't know what they write. My child used to wonder what these girls are writing so much. आगे पीछे होगी खत्म हो गया because that is their nature. Just telling you, when somebody gets married, be prepared. Either you have to hear Kamal Lochan or some devotee in the lectures, long lectures, or in the house you live long lectures. You choose what you want to hear. Anyway, coming back to the original story. They were doing Prajalpa, Sanjalpa, but their Sanjalpa was Uttama Shloka Chetasam. Their consciousness is completely attracted to Krishna. since their consciousness was completely absorbed in Krishna, their Prajalpa is described as Sarvashruti Manohara. Their Prajalpa is superior to the Vedic literatures. Vyasa writes. So your question is how to avoid Prajalpa in spiritual topics. If your consciousness is completely absorbed in Krishna, I would like to listen to your Prajalpa. I would like to listen to it. So because you wrote spiritual topics. So any talk related to Krishna, it is always purifying. Though it may Prajalpa, they are not very great scholars and they just mates. They are not even Kshatriyas maybe, they may be some servants in their houses. They just came up and then saw. And they were so attracted to Krishna. Oh, their prayers feel full of philosophy. Beautiful prayers. 10th chapter. Sanjalpa Mayastuti. It is known as one of the Bhagavatam. Bhishma Stuti, Kunti Stuti. That is Sanjalpa Mayastuti. Gossip in Krishna consciousness. Being absorbed in Krishna. Being absorbed in Krishna consciousness. If somebody does gossip, then that gossip is transcendental. So, one thing to measure whether this gossip is Prajalpa is spiritual or not, when the gossip goes on, there should be some shlokas and pramanas given. 4 devotees are sitting and talking about Krishna. So, how do you measure whether this discussion which is going on is spiritual or not? Anybody says anything, what do? Support it with a words. So that is why the best way to stop somebody doing Prajalpa is when somebody says something, Prabhuji, can you quote a verse for that? Don't say anything without a quote. Then you say, oh, I was hearing to one lecture. No, I don't. I want it from the quote, from the book. Don't say Kamal Lochan not said that, Das said this, started would. Say what Prabhupada said in the book, where Krishna has told, where Narada has told. Show me. That's a very good way to stop Prajalpa. And to see whether that spiritual topic is really spiritual or not. Is really spiritual or not. Tell anything, no problem. Discuss, have a wonderful discussion. But anything you say, quote a verse. Support it. Wonderful, great. It makes you and everybody strong and fixed up in spiritual life. Okay. Now, if we talk only about Siddhanta and Seva amongst devotees, then one time things becomes dry. So, what should be our topic of communication in spiritual groups? How would we become dry? Siddhanta is dry. Seva is dry. How is it? How is it dry? That means it's not apasiddhanta. With a siddhanta, it's never dry. Now we are discussing siddhanta for how many? It's almost we are into the 8th hour of discussion of siddhanta in the past one day, isn't it? Last one day. 8 hours of discussion. 8 hours. But still you are hearing, still I am speaking. I don't know how it's dry. It's not dry. If it is a apasiddhanta, then it is dry. If it is siddhanta, it is never dry. Siddhanta valiya chitte na kare alas. Never ever make your mind. Krishna tattva, bhakti tattva, rasa tattva, pranta, prabhu kohile ne bhagavad siddhanta. So, it is rasa tattva, Krishna tattva, bhakti tattva. Sometimes people say, oh, you only speak philosophy, speak some rasa, na? Okay, I will speak rasa tattva, philosophy of rasa. So they see philosophy and rasa are two different things, and not. Because in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Mahaprabhu speaks to the Goswami that three things he spoke, that is Krishna Tattva, Bhakti Tattva, Rasa Tattva, Pranta, Prabhu Koirido, Bhagavad Siddhanta. So when they talk about Siddhanta and Seva among devotees, then one time things becomes bright. If the people who are discussing, if they are Rasika Bhuvi Bhavukaha, then it will never become dry. Rather, it is Anandambodhi Vardhanam, Pratipadaam Purnamrita Swadhanam. It will be Tushyanti Ramantika, Bodhayanta Parasparam, Katayantascha Mam Nityam, Tushyanti cha, Ramayanti cha. Tushyanti means they are completely satisfied. Ramayanti, they are totally enjoying. And there is no stop for this. You can go on for hours and hours and hours and hours. It will never become done. Rather, everything in this world appears to be dry when you are completely engrossed in something. Come out, when somebody talks something. So, that means the talk is not about Siddhanta. When it is Apasiddhanta, then everything becomes dry. Okay? And so, what should be other topics of communication in spiritual view? What communication is there other than Krishna? Any other communication is dry only. There is only one communication. Bolo Krishna, Bhajo Krishna, Haro Krishna Siksha. These are the only three things. There is no other communication. In morning class, you gave example of Prahlad Maharaj for preaching by explaining how Prahlad Maharaj preached. But I am not on the level of Prahlad Maharaj. So does that verse is applicable for me also? Yeah, it is applicable for everyone. I am also not on Prahlad Maharaj platform. But the system what is set is applicable for everyone. Like it is saying that Srila Prabhupada is very advanced, that is why he is chanting Hare Krishna. So I am not so advanced, should I chant Hare Krishna? So I am not very advanced, Prabhuji, so should I read Bhagavatam? What is this? Srila Prabhupada can do it, I don't know if I can do it or not. Actually, when we are preaching, we are not preaching. We are becoming an instrument in the hand of Srila Prabhupada, that's all. Where? Nimitta matram karanam bhavasabdi sacham. That's all, just become a hand instrument. So, depending on your purity, depending on the bliss you are experiencing Krishna consciousness, that much spiritual power flows through you to others. No problem. Flowing, as long as I am an instrument, I am happy. How much it is flowing, it's up to Krishna. Isn't it? People may do more, some people will do, but I should be instrument, that's all. Just let me be an instrument. So, I am not like Prahlad Maharaj. Tell who you become like Prahlad Maharaj. Or you can only become when you follow the footsteps of Prahlad Maharaj. Yes, preaching to the demoniac school, you also go. You are also in college or somewhere here. Preach. Not that you thinking that I am a preacher, thinking you are a instrument in the hand of Srila Prabhupada. What is pure devotional service? If a person having material desires intensifies bhakti, then is it not pure devotional service? Oh, pure devotional service, you may be impure, but still you can perform pure devotional service. You need not be a pure devotee to perform pure devotional service. No lust, no anger, no greed, then only I will be called, then only I can perform pure devotional service. No. As I told yesterday, anybody can take up pure devotional service. And Bhakti Rasamrita says this. Anybody. It may be a Malacha, it may be Chandala, it may be Brahmin or Kshatriya, Shudra. Anybody, woman, anybody can take up pure devotional service. It is not reserved only for some people, no. Anybody can take it. Of course, depending on one's intensity, desire to perform pure devotional service, and mode of goodness. If they are mode of goodness and have intense desire to practice pure devotion, they progress faster. They attain bhava faster. They overcome arthas faster. But qualification, there is no prerequisite qualification. There is only one qualification. If you want to surrender to Krishna, there is only qualification. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, as you tell people who are in mode of goodness, they can deal with material world, but those who are in mode of passion, they cannot. Can you please elaborate? In your mode of goodness, Sattvam Sanjayate Jnanam. Because of knowledge, you will not be affected much by the material contamination. That is why Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Tatra Sattvam Nirmalatvat Prakashatmaka Manayam Sukasangena Danti Jnana Sangena Chana. To give you a small example, I'll give you, you say goodness and all. He was a king. He later on was named as Manu Niti Chola. Chola king in South India. Chola Raja. He was very unhappy. You know why he was unhappy? Because all the citizens in his kingdom were so happy, they never had any complaints. He was unhappy because they had no complaints. He thought that people maybe are afraid to come and tell me, or maybe my assistants are stopping people coming and telling me. So he put a big bell in front of his palace. Anybody can come and ring the bell anytime. The king would personally attend their problems. So he did the bell. Still nobody comes and rings the bell. What to do? I think I am a very sinful person. That I am not really very free with the citizens. Citizens are afraid of me, scared of me. Just thinking like one night, bell rang. Oh, he was so happy. He was, at least I'll attend somebody's problem. And let me go and solve. So he went immediately to do his duty and he saw, it was a cow. He had tears in his eyes and the king understood there's something problem. The cow was trying to divert like this, let it you come along with me. The king started walking behind the cow. So there the cow took him to a place. The king saw that the calf was dead on the road. Immediately the king understood this calf is the cow's calf. And many people are assembled there at the time. Come. He asked everyone, who killed this calf? Then everybody was like, nobody was telling anything. If you don't tell, I'm going to kill all of you here. You have to tell the truth. No man. Okay, it happens sometimes. And they will end on them. And they're like, they sleep for you. Tell who is the person. Then this old man told him, it is your only son, the princess. He was driving the chariot and the intention did not do. He just drove over this calf and the calf died. King called his soldiers. He had not an iota of any. Oh, my son did nothing. Called his soldiers, asked him to bring the prince. So he made the prince. His only son lie on the road, tied. The king sat in the chariot. He drove the chariot on his own son, killed him. The ministers, they asked the king, how did you do? Your only son, why did you kill him? Okay, cow, calf, some prashchitta could have been done. Then the king told him, Manu says, if you kill a cow or a calf, you will go to lower species of life. You will go to hell. And you may even suffer in insects' life. You will become even a Brahman Akshas. The only punishment is death for killing a calf. And that too is a prince. That is why his only punishment is that. So in the next life, I want my son to be at least born as a human so that he can continue his devotion. And this is called mode of goodness. In mode of passion, what people think? Oh, mera beta, today aisa kyun kiya? Don't do it. He will do all these things and then thank God. Ignorance and die tomorrow. Mera beta. So dealing with this world, you deal according to the scriptures, dharma shastras. When you follow dharma, then becomes mode of goodness. That king, he followed dharma. Manu, that is why he is named as Manu Niti Chola, because he exactly followed what Manu said. So people in mode of goodness can deal. That is why it's in can deal. And mode of passion and ignorance, very difficult. So that is why even though a person is in mode of passion and ignorance, they are supposed to follow dharma. Then, though they are in passion and ignorance, their passion and ignorance can be dovetailed in Krishna's service according to the instruction of the scriptures. That is why the Kshatriyas and the Vaishyas and the Shudras have no independence. Because the Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras, they are having passion and ignorance. The Brahmins are supposed to be in mode of goodness. So they have independence. The Kshatriyas also are supposed to do things, take decisions based on the Brahmin's advice. So when the execution part comes, then they will be using their modes. But what to do and how to do is directed by the Brahmins based on the scriptures. So that is why mode of passion and ignorance is not a problem if you are practicing Varnashrama. The Varnashrama is based on the guidance of the Brahmin. That is why Namo Brahmanya Devaya Go Brahmanya. Krishna knows that when the Brahmins are protected, the Vedas are protected. Because the duty of the Brahmin is Veda, is to protect Veda. So when the Vedas are protected, when everybody conducts their life, especially the king takes the Brahmin's advice, then the king is doing sacrifices and all, and he is taking all the taxes from the Vaishyas, and he is conducting his entire country according to the Varnashrama, according to the Vedas. So that is why passion and ignorance is not a hindrance for spiritual life if that person is surrendered to a Brahmin or a spiritual master. Srila Prabhupada used to say that one can become pure devotee in a moment. I want to become a devotee in a moment. Please explain how to understand this. What is it to understand? Become. Don't understand. Become a pure devotee. You follow Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu 24 hours a day. You are a pure devotee. You know 9 forms of devotional service. 9 forms of devotional service. Do one of them, at least one of them, in your 24 hours a day. Either you are chanting or hearing, or you are thinking, or you are serving, or you are doing Vandanam, or Archanam, Dasyam. Doing one of these 9 at any given point of time makes you pure devotee. Okay. So there is nothing to understand in that. That is why Prabhupada gave. As long as you are following the law book of ISKCON, you are a pure devotee. To give you a small schedule. You sleep. Is it pure devotional service? Yes. Because you want to get up early in the morning for Manana. As soon as you get up, you do clean yourself fresh. It's also pure devotional service because you don't want to go in front of Krishna with your mouth stinking. You don't want to go in front of Krishna with dirty clothes, and then you wear new clothes. You don't want to go in front of Krishna without tilak. Is it not your devotional service? Taking bath, dressing. So you go in front of Krishna. There you order chanting and dancing. Is not your devotional service? And after chanting Guru Puja or Darshana, the pure devotional service, seeing Krishna, one should have darshan of Krishna, the someone says. Then after that, Bhagavatam class, pure devotional service. Accepting prasadam, pure devotional service. And after that, you're doing different sevas which are given to you. It is dasyam. So it depends on your consciousness. When your consciousness is that you are fixed up that I am servant of Krishna and doing one of these 9 activities. Actually 64 becomes 9. One of these activities. Then you are, tell me one activity which is not pure devotional service. Suppose somebody may be grahastha. Then he may go to market to buy sabji, or you are running your base, you are buying sabji, making sure it's proper because it is being offered to Krishna. Is it not pure devotional service? So it is in devotion what matters is consciousness. So don't try to understand, just practice pure devotional service. Next, how to understand that King Indradumna committed offense towards Agastya Rishi although he was engaged in Lord's worship. Any pastime in the law in Bhagavatam is according to the desire of the Lord. Like 4 Kumaras coming and Jai Vijay stopping them. Do you think Jai Vijay would stop them ever? They are many times come and gone. But why only now? Because it is the will of the Lord. So many a times for a particular thing, it is the will of the Lord this happens. So some pastime has to happen in future. Mostly pastimes are all will of the Lord. किसी व्यक्ति के ब्रह्मचारी बनने में उसके नेचर और फैमिली बैकग्राउंड किस हद तक महत्व रखते हैं? क्या उसे इन बातों को ध्यान में रखना चाहिए या नहीं? कोई जरूरत नहीं. No, not required. Anybody and everybody. If they follow the program of pure devotional service, Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, the pure devotees. You can be very nicely situated in Ashram. Even if you are a Brahmin and a very rich person, you are very expert, very intelligent. If you don't follow the program, then you cannot. Maya will kick you. You just kick like anything, hard guard. But if you are anybody in Ashram, who are Prabhupada took what kind of people into Ashram? At least your birth is far superior to that birth, isn't it? They are born in the cow eaters family, Malechas. Their blood is contaminated for generations and generations. They are born from cow flesh. Most sinful, most degraded. Even though somebody is born in a non-vegetarian family, eating all kinds of. But at least in India, people don't eat cow. Of course, now Kerala everybody is eating. And they're eating beef party. It was never there. It's all just communism, trying to show that Vedas are wrong. Atheism. Nobody can prove themselves to be atheists just by eating cow. It's just sinful. Most sinful. Even that kind of people who are born in that, whose lineage is cow flesh. Such a degraded. Srila Prabhupada welcomed them. You follow this program, you are, the moment you give the program, then all the modes haunt like anything, isn't it? So you don't have to worry about what is your background, whether you're a Sharmaji or a Varmaji or Thakurji or Thakur or Kukur or anybody. Kukur or anything, you can become any, no problem. We don't see. Just come, chant and dance in the Mangalarti. So it doesn't matter whether you're dumb, illiterate, it doesn't matter. You don't know how to read, how to write. You like to chant? Come. You like to dance? Come. Like to take prasad? And you like to be devotees, serve devotees? Come. What will I do in ISKCON? Okay, clean the temple. What is the problem? Is not devotional service? It is devotional service. Only giving class is devotional service or what? Clean the vessel, devotional service. Make kheer. What do you have to do? What PhD you have to do for making kheer? Go milk is just go on doing this. Krishna is happy. Why have to break your head? All these things. Don't be happy. Don't bother. Like somebody told, I heard you only take graduates in ISKCON. What Jai Dvait Maharaj, what the end of graduate? 8th fail. He's editor of Prabhupada, the Prabhupada books. 8th standard fail. Then background doesn't matter. As long as you are surrendered to your spiritual master. The acharyas, they have showed to the entire world, background doesn't matter. As long as you are practicing pure devotion. But the moment you come down to pure devotion, either karma or something like that, immediately your modes haunt you. What are the goodness, passion, ignorance, whatever, this haunts you. Don't bother. He is a Ramachari, devotee, not affected by material desires, attachment for women. He has no time. There is no time. Where is time? Where is opportunity? No opportunity. Ramachari, no opportunity. What opportunity? No opportunity. After 9 o'clock, immediately after Bhagavatam class, come and sit in the ashram. Chant. Attend the Bhagavatam. Do some sort of seva. Who told you are teach woman? Nobody is telling you. If you say, no, I want to do, then what you can do? Nobody can do. So, no time for all these things. Where is time? It may be there, dormant, material desires may be there, but you don't have time for it. Srila Prabhupada, when somebody asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada, do you have lust? We were traveling in vehicle. Srila Prabhupada got down. He said, I don't have time for it. Actually, he did not say I have. Actually, he told, I know that you and I am telling you, you don't give time for that. Be busy in serving Krishna. It's a nature, isn't it? Suppose you are sitting in the Prasadam hall and they served you rasgullas and you finished that your quota of one. And hey, you want rasgulla? Yeah, rasgulla doing. What does that mean? I want it. So sometimes your problem, you try to ascribe it to somebody else and then try to. Then actually you had a problem. Oh yeah, Prabhupada, I had lost what to do with that. He really could not ask so. Then he asked Prabhupada, do you have? If you have already, please tell. Professional reciters plant the seed of devotion in remote areas in the form of interest to hear about Krishna and his devotees. What does it mean? See, what is the meaning of professional reciters? Srila Prabhupada used to talk more about it. Professional reciters are those who try to make money out of reciting Bhagavad. So definitely it is not good. Because they don't know the philosophy. They are not Vaishnavas. If you hear from a Vaishnava, Vaishnamukor Girtam Putam Harikatamritam Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam Satpochishtam Yatapayaha. Shravanam Naiva Kartavyam, don't hear because though they are speaking Bhagavatam, it is coming from the mouth of Vaishnava. In that he add Krishna being conditioned. They describe Krishna as one more hero in a movie or something like that. They may glorify Krishna, but their glorification of Krishna is not on the transcendental platform. They are not connected to the parampara. That is why we have to totally discourage this kind of professional reciters reciting. The Vaishnava doing it, no. But when Prabhupada talks of professional reciters, they are very much condemned it, and we also condemn it. That is why in ISKCON we are trying to do Bhagavad-gita. I myself facing that kind of thing. And especially in Gujarat and Rajasthan, people have a natural inclination to hear Bhagavad-gita. There are so many kind of Bhagavad-gitas going on which are not Siddhant, because Siddhant is not proper. So if ISKCON doesn't do it, then what will happen? They will all go to. So for them to get to the proper track, we require proper speakers of Bhagavad. Present it in a nice way so that people get enlivened and proper Krishna consciousness. Those who doubt authority is destroyed. So, can you please clarify who is authority? I am not the authority. Whether authority is always right? How to inline ourselves within authority if one sees fault in authority? Great question. Those who doubt authority is destroyed. Can you please clarify who is authority? Guru? Sadhu? Guru, Sadhu and whether authority is always right? Are these two always right? How to inline oneself with authority when he finds his Is there when he sees fault in authority? So Guru, Sadhu and Shastra, they have faults? There are no faults. But still you are seeing fault in them. So what you are among the four kinds of Sadhu and Sadhu and Sadhu? Ati Asadhu Tara. Tama. Ati Asadhu Tama. Guru, Sadhu and Shastra are totally faultless. And what you are trying to do? So where is the fault? Where is the me? The fault is in me, that I am trying to see fault in Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Okay. If you are trying to find, if you have found some fault in some so-called authority, what you are thinking of, that means you should be better than that person. Who can find faults? You can find fault in somebody who is inferior to you. Suppose, for example, you have written examination and you have answered the question, answer paper. Who can check your answer paper? Somebody more not. So if you are able to find faults in somebody, that means you are definitely superior to them. You are the authority. You are the authority. You are the authority for your authority. Or you are self-proclaimed authority to check all authorities. So Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. Even in that, you may say, how I can have blind person? Clarify. First is you hear Shastra from your Guru. If you have any doubts, go to a it is a check balance system, a perfect system. You may have some doubt in what your Guru has told, or maybe having some doubts, maybe. And what is there? Go to a sadhu. Then again refer to the scripture. The sadhu will explain based on the scripture. So ultimate authority is what? Scriptures. We have Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam. So much is there. Isn't there? So don't doubt authority. When you say authority here refers to what? Guru, Sadhu and Shastra. And if you are confused about scripture, go to a Guru. If you are confused about what Guru has said, go to a Sadhu. And the Sadhu will explain scripture. It goes on. Within the three only. There is no other hope other than this. Yes. Shiksha Guru and Diksha. And who is Shiksha Guru? Original Shiksha. In general, in ISKCON, Shiksha Guru is the 10th president. General. Because based on his recommendation, Diksha Guru gives you Diksha. Generally, the 10th president. Counselor may be established or set up by the president, so it is a system. Ultimately, the president is responsible. Counselor is a system set up by the president. Many temples don't have counselors. When I joined, there was no counselor. Krishna was my counselor. Oh, I used to cry. Oh. Who set up this counseling system? Temple president has set up it. So his temple has become so big, so he has extended, he has invested his faith in someone and asked him to act as. Ultimately, he is getting his empowerment from where? Temple. Guru, sadhu. Actually, sadhu refers to the previous acharyas. Or also, it refers to those who are very exemplary in their character. Very exemplary in their character. Automatically you find. Hare Krishna told you, I know what things are right, but knowing I commit mistakes, so it is wrong. What is the verse in Bhagavad Gita? Arjuna says, Adakkena vruttoyam apam charati purushaha annichanna vivashneya baladiva. So, Arjuna also has the same question. What is the thing which I don't want to do, but still I am forced to do this thing, even though I don't want to? Anichannapi varshneya baladiva, I am forced. I am forced. Things which I don't want to do. Baladiva. And Krishna answers it. What is the answer? Kamayesha krodayesha rajoguna samudbhavaha mahashano mahapatma dhyeenam. It is the lust. So your answer is how to control lust. You know it is wrong, but still you are doing it because of lust. And this lust is springing from mode of passion. So mode of passion means that you are having you're having free time, a lot of free time. That is the reason. A lot of free time, that is the problem. When you don't have any free time, there is no problem at all. Okay. Any questions, verbal questions for now? So, yes. How can we? Oh. How do you know your emotion is strong or weak? If you don't know, that means your emotion is strong. Like a rich person doesn't know what is poverty, isn't it? Because he's rich, he doesn't know what is poverty. Your emotion is strong, that is why you don't know what it means. You don't know. Only those somebody who know, they know. They ask the question. Even I was also not knowing because of so many preaching, meeting so many people, and I came to know about through them. I give a small example. When I joined, I was a new Bhakta in charge, temple commander, new Bhakta in charge, good teacher, different stuff, everything, all topics in one person. One Ramachari, one joined, nice one, good person. He ran into. And he knew Ramachari Manas and all this thing, very nice to 15 sadhana. And all of a sudden, one day I find he's not there in Ashram, he left. And I was wanted to make him scientific in charge, all this thing, was talking to spirit. This is only what happened. And congregation did it. Actually, big bang is the bad. He got a very stress. What did I do? You know, I was having so much of hopes. I go, what did I do? I found one letter. They started.
2 pages लिखी है, बहुत भूख लगा, क्या भूख लगा, वो reading. He felt so bad because before he some people were telling me so कोई नहीं इसमें वीडियो nobody is there, you do it.
It was very free for me.
He felt so bad about it. Just because nobody is there, you are giving me. And left. Sure, such people can also exist on this planet. Can you imagine something like that? There are people like that. What you can do there? He would have told on the Facebook. ऐसा मत ऐसा बोल के मत दो. He would have told me on that, isn't it? I just told because I'm doing that. And my Hindi was also not so good at the time. In English, I would not use that word. Nobody else is it, that is what you do. I would have never told. But that Hindi was so that, I wanted to say, no proper person is there for it. And you please take care of it. And that is what I wanted to say. In those low words, I told something which I felt so bad about it. Emotional problem means you feel bad about it. You feel bad. मुझे हरे कृष्ण नहीं बोला. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. You can't go on chanting. Somebody comes and tells you, हरे कृष्ण बोला ना, हरे कृष्ण बोल के जा रहा था. No, उसको नहीं बोला. These are all called scratching the back and all this stuff. In the ashram, don't expect all these things. It will not be there. So, we're getting some idea what it is. Some people have that. Good, you don't have. You're strong. I don't say you're strong. You're normal. They are weak. Being normal is there. I told in the class, give. You felt that somebody did not tell you Hare Krishna, you felt bad about it. What you do? You go into it. And by doing so, you're strong. I give an example of a chaste lady in the village. She seems to be emotional, and she just gives emotional care to everyone. And when distress comes, she becomes strong. By giving. We made at what time? 2 o'clock? 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock, 2 to 4 we do, and then finish up.